Listen, care for a rub down?
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Something special is about to happen.
Are you waiting to receive my limp penis?
Very aroused.
Better than later.
Let's do this.
That is incredible. That is unbelievable. That is brilliant.
Yeah, g'day rubbers. Welcome back to the weekly Rub Down, a podcast that rubs down everything NRL SuperCoach. You are listening to the CTW Rub Down. I'm your host, Natty, the triple champion, and with me as always, riding shotgun in the Rub Down is the Stats Daddy. What's up, Daddy?
Hey, bro. How's things?
Good. It's been a little...
Good thing to get into the CT dubs. Holy Jesus. It's taken us a little bit of extra time to pull this one together.
Yeah, and I was just about to say, we've had a little bit of a break, 6 or 7 days between potties, but I think we just needed a little bit of a break, so we've got to run up into this podcast, because this bad boy, this girl, she's girthy, she's a big one. This could be a 3-hour podcast. We've got a lot to cover, a lot to dive into, a lot of players to dissect, a lot of strategy to cover. It's going to be huge. I'm going to need to wet the whistle and lubricate the tonsils, so let's crack open.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. It's good. It's good.
It's good.
Right. So
Plus,
yes.
we're also finishing off the rub files as well. Took a little bit more brain power than expected.
Yeah, it was a lot easier this year because I had a little bit of practice, but still a huge fucking job, that's for sure. Hopefully everyone that's bought the rub file so far is enjoying it. Even just me promoting it on socials and talking about what's in it, a minute for a story isn't long enough. There is so much in this rub files, and plus we've added more this year. We've got a full comprehensive player profile section, which goes through every team and gives you a little snippet of each player and some stats next to their name. So 253 pages of SuperCoach study. This is your SuperCoach sacred text, people. This is the holy grail. This is your study Bible. This is all you're going to need. 2025 stats coming out of last year's season. Easy. It's all there. All the positional analysis broken down into stat sheets, sharpshooters, goal kickers, ceiling analysis, scoring and conceding, home and away analysis. Then you go into the SuperCoach forecast, which is talking about your draw analysis, not just for teams. We're doing player positions, specific statistical positions as well, your strength of schedule. We've got your boom, bust, sleepers, players in focus, rub rules, strategy. Then your player profiles, and I didn't even mention the team reviews, the team report cards, the breakdowns. It goes on and on. Like I said, 253 pages, $25. This is all you'll need. This is the one place you buy this. That's all you'll need for your study, for your classic, your draft team. Do yourself a favor. Go get this bad boy. It is impressive, and it's something that we're hanging our hat on. This is the creme de la creme of the rub. This is what we come here to play with. This is the rub files. Is it?
It's the preseason pinnacle. It's what we're going to use as our Bible for study through the
100%,
preseason.
baby.
Like it's
100%.
essentially, that's exactly what it is. It's what I'll be using. That's damn sure.
Easy to follow as well, because we know that on the Patreon, obviously, there's a lot of gear on there, but that can be a little bit harder to navigate through the history of how we've come out with those stat sheets. Just flick to the contents in the rub, print it out, make a little booklet, away you go. Have it on the shitter, contents page. What am I looking at? SuperCoach forecast, page 184. There we go. Okay, I'm looking at this player. Geez, I want to look at the player profile. Page 210. We couldn't have made it any fucking easier for you, I'm telling you. Yeah, it's the one product. It's the one thing that we bring out that I'm the most proud of, because I think it serves everyone, no matter what. Even if you're a fantasy player, it's still going to serve you well there as well. So
Yeah.
It's a fantastic tool to have, a weapon to have. And you want to give yourself an unfair advantage against your mates? You want to give yourself a leg up? You want to put yourself in the best
almost
possible
two legs up.
situation? This is it. This is like being a Chinese swimmer and just juicing yourself up to the eyeballs and jumping into the pool and looking like a speedboat. That's the equivalent of having the rub files in your back pocket.
It's hunting mosquitoes with a bazooka.
100%.
It's honestly just like, yeah. I cannot tell you how much has gone into it. And look, it is the culmination of our entire preseason so far. So everything that we've learnt is in there. And as we go through, if there are any big changes to it, we'll be updating some of the attached sheets. So some of our rankings and stuff like that for some players as well. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, very exciting times, mate. Very.
Yeah, it's good, Kim. And once you go through it, and just say you think to yourself, God, I wish they had this in here, or I wish they put this stat in here, or I wish they covered that. Get in contact with us. Let us know. We want to make this thing the ultimate, the number one guide for SuperCoach players. So if you've got any response to the Rub Files or any criticisms, please let us know. We want to keep building and keep evolving the Rub Files. So very keen. Get your hands on it. You will not be disappointed. I promise you.
Yeah.
Now,
always open to feedback. But yeah,
yes.
This is exciting.
Patreon still humming over there. Classic comps. We're going to have that bad boy up and running. The WhatsApp. So if you're part of the Patreon, you'll get a link to the Rub chat, which is on WhatsApp, which is really good for setting up mocks. So on there, just talking draft and everything like that. But you're with like-minded drafters, cunts that know what they're doing. You want to set up a draft. You want to join a mock draft. Just go onto the WhatsApp, or if you're in the Discord, or if you just want to jump in the Patreon chat. Guys are frothing at the moment, chomping at the bit to join mocks. We've got multiple mocks going every single day at the moment. And if you want to do a mock draft without the bots, going up against real drafters, going up against guys that know what they're fucking doing, join the Rub Club, tier 2, $8 a month, and it's all there. Just get in the chats, say, boys, I'm about to set up a mock. 8 p.m., tell them the code or whatever. Everyone will jump in, and away you go. So that's what's sort of humming at the moment over there in the Rub Club.
Yeah. Going off like a frog in a sock, and it's only going to heat up a little bit more once we start to do mocks with the boys. So we'll sit in with a few. We'll give a bit of feedback on how they went. Looking at the different positions where we're drafting, how that impacts the decisions that we need to make, and we'll also be putting up some of the results from those mocks as well. So yeah, keep an eye out for that, and it's only going to help us or set up our pre-draft lists and even our classic round one teams as well.
100%. February is pretty heavy for exclusive rub down. So we'll be doing some mocks with Wooker and I. We'll be involved in those mocks. And then we'll be studying the outcomes of the teams where we've picked, and we'll be turning that into a podcast, like a pick analyzer podcast. That'll be exclusive on in the Rub Club. We'll do a strength of schedule for the finals rub down. That'll be exclusive for the Patreon. We will do, what's another one that we're bringing out? Anyway, there's fucking heaps going on over there.
There's
heaps and heaps. The other thing is the challenge pack. So if you are looking for a way to sort out your draft order, challenge pack is ready to go. Buy that bad boy. It's all set out in black and white, step by step, tutorials, lists, the whole bit. You won't have to think. You won't have to fucking do anything. Not lift a finger. Just follow it. All my advice in the challenge pack, and you will be set up. Your league's going to thank you. Trust me. So Rub Files, challenge pack, Patreon, it's all firing on multiple cylinders at the moment. Kicking dicks in, which we love to see. All right. Let's get into a listener league sledge. So if you want to be part of the Rubbers League, the listener league for a draft league, for the 2026 season, you have to be a Rub Club subscriber, and you have to send in a 5-star sledge, whether that be on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or if you're having trouble with Spotify, if you can get in contact with us via DM, via Patreon. Send in your sledge there. We pick our favorite 9 sledges to go up against. Me and Wook and I will coach a team together, and we'll get down to business, get real dirty. Big season, lots of banter, lots of bets. So we do have a sledge here. I think I've gone ahead and added it to the run sheet like a smart boy. Yes,
well
I
played,
have.
mate. That's
Yes.
unlike you.
Yeah, that's eyes up footy from me. Big time. All right, I can't remember who this is from. I think it's Jimbo.
Jimmy.
So we've got welcome to the most aggressively self-satisfied, self-acclaimed draft expert podcast on the planet, hosted by 2 degenerate low IQ humans sitting around drinking 0 alcoholic beer out of sippy cups. This is where outdated information goes to live forever and be defended like it's cutting edge analysis. Firstly, Natty is the type of bloke that proudly walks around with tickets of himself of winning a potato sack race at school in grade 5 and is still wearing the first place ribbon around like war medals. Reminding you his team name is Champs, not because it's relevant, but because he still holds onto that one magical moment in his life where his dad finally said, "I'm proud of you, son."
Fuck.
Then the brains wooker. Think trying to jam a square peg into a round hole, then blaming the hole, the peg, the table, the weather, and the NRL draw where it doesn't fit. Wow, that's good.
You know.
The advice is stale, recycled, and confidently delivered like it's gospel, straight from a brain still buffering from the last decade's meta.
Wow.
By the end of each episode, you'll somehow know less than when you started, but don't worry, they'll assure you that using your 2nd and 3rd round picks on front row forward is actually high upside value right before it escorts you hand in hand to your first wooden spoon. Trust the process, ignore the results. This isn't a podcast that adapts, learns, or evolves. If delusions were a stat, these blokes would be priced at $1 million. Thanks, lads. Always a pleasure supporting the needy. 5 stars.
Love the little drive-by at the end as well. Far out.
Yep, smashed us. I love that.
The headlights for that one.
I love that.
That was heckers.
Think trying to jam a square peg into a round hole, then blaming the hole, the peg, the table, the weather, and the NRL draw when it doesn't fit. It's good. That's very good. That's very good. Well done, Jimbo, if that was you. Now they're coming in. Thick and
fast, mate. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Let's get me back to where I was before. Here we are. We're back again. Now, it's been 6-7 days between drinks here, between when we've last done our podcast. There is plenty to go through with news. So let's jump into that.
With a Channel 4 News exclusive. Brian?
And a watch.
So I have been keeping tabs on the news in a little notes folder in my phone here. So let's start going through it. Tyson Frizzell has said in an interview that Brown has been training at 6, which is good news. Great news for Brown in the sense that Jewel, hello, 5'8" halfback. Thanks for coming, rocketing up the ranks here. Dylan Brown, big on him. Get him up here. I want to buff him. Which means Sandon Smith firming as 7. Whispers that he'll goal kick, Sharp to left wing. And Marzu whispers that he's going to be a bench utility. What's your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think it almost puts a bit of a red Sharpie through Marju as an option, really. He's going to be overdrafted no matter how many people draft him. He's going to go in that Sikatalakai role.
Whoa, start again.
Sifa Talakai.
There it is. You had a dead set seizure then.
I should have just said Talakai. I was going to go with that. But anyway, I was going Talakai, Sika Talakai. What the fuck? Anyway,
one of your best.
So he's going to be no-go zone. Makes it a real difficult decision on Sharp because, he'll shift across to the left wing. We know that they can eat on that left wing and it's going to be an absolute domination on that side. But a lot of his point scoring was through those cheap backup plays, which he's not going to get as many of. But on the flip side, Jewel. That's going to be huge. Like the 5'8", Is he? Yeah, 5'8" and CTW he'll be. So
He'll be, yep.
that'd be bloody sensational. So
Yeah.
same sort of vein as Purdue, who we've been sucking to the chewy center. But yeah, big one there.
Yeah, you pick up Sharp at your CTW spot after you've, well, you'll probably draft him before you draft a 5'8", but leaving that spot open in your 5'8" and try and pick up some scraps at the back end of the draft, not a bad play. I do like it. Next one.
You pick up him early, and then you pick up someone like a Pezzet or someone like that a bit later in the draft.
Yeah, and you can move him around.
Mm.
Flexibility, baby. Roosters team photo on socials, we saw Radley in the 12 and Naff White with the 8 on his back. So that's showing me that, I mean, and we talked about this as well, this could mean absolutely nothing or it could mean everything. We don't know. But at the moment, if that's how they're looking to line up when Radley comes back, looks like Radley will be on the right edge, Naff White at prop, which means it's either Connor Watson or Siwa Wong at lock, which, who knows? I couldn't see those two in the photo, so I couldn't make it out what number they were wearing. But if I had to guess, I would say Wong at 13 and Watson at 14, just because Watson can play 8 positions. And that's how I'd line it up.
I know that's how you'd go. Has Siwa Wong ever played lock?
Yes.
In NRL, I mean. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Now, just because that makes sense, because it does make sense to play the New South Wales 14 utility as the utility for your team as well. Robbo's done some weird things. And you know what? This may not even be a fucking thing. Radley could be 13 when he comes back. We don't know. But I just thought I'd let everyone know that that's what's happening at the moment. I got sent that heaps via DMs, that photo, because obviously I'm big on Wong. News firming the Dave Fifita to start on the left edge. So
that's
we're
just
heating.
confirming what we already thought about.
We're heating up on Dave Fifita. We're heating up. We're getting warmer. Angus Crichton, last year, he'll be going to Union next year. So possibly last year in the tricolours. Big year coming up for Gussie Crichton. I do like that.
Well, it's a big year for the Roosters as well, because they've got Nwangani Tuaze doing the same thing. Going across rugby.
So all good things for Roosters, I think. Sonny Luke signed with the Cowboys. So all of a sudden, Reid Marnie as the only hooker. That takes a huge hit. Signing Sonny Luke this late in the piece just shows me that maybe they're worried about Reid Marnie going the distance.
I think it's more the case that they don't, in their books, they don't have like a backup. If Marnie goes down, they don't have anyone to replace him. They're not gonna have like Harrison Edwards do it again, are they?
I think they've got some. They've got another hooker, because I remember looking at the roster. I haven't.
Okay.
He's some. I forget his name.
Yeah, but some guys have played NRL though.
No.
Yeah.
So it's a worrisome sign, because we were all but certain Reid Marnie was going to get 80 minutes every game. Are we so certain now? Not so sure. Something to think about.
Puts the same question marks that we had over Simpkin with Zach Dr. Clay coming in.
100%.
So, very similar position for the two.
We have a rumor that Lasardi has won that right edge back row spot for the Storm. Now, we were sort of gathering that was going to be the case, but it hadn't been confirmed. But it seems like it's all but confirmed that Lasardi will line up at the right edge for the Storm.
Will he play 80 minutes though?
Exactly. That's the other
question. That's the overarching question. And look, he's only on my radar for Classic because of how cheap he is. Like, you put a line through him for the start for draft.
Not a bad late draft pickup if you are feeling it in your loins, because if he does, running off the best halfback feeding his back rower outside DCE could be a nice little shy at the stumps. If you want to, if you want to get a little bit crazy, if you want to get a little bit nuts.
Could do a lot worse.
Big time. Now, the other rumor is Josh Patson has won the right edge spot for the Titans. Who the fuck's this guy? Never heard of the cunt. Do you know who he is?
Yeah. So he played a couple of games last season. So, I mean, it was going to be between him and a few others. Cooper Bye, there were shouts that he might play lock, and then Randall would play in the edge, but I just can't see that happening now. Paxton, he's got to be one of your first picked in Classic if that's absolutely confirmed.
Yeah, big time. Staying with the Titans, Jamin Jolliffe, ACL. Go.
Yeah, that's big for Mofo. So push him up your pre-draft list. I think that's
big for Randall too.
Big for Randall because that's going to push Tino into the prop position, opens up the lock spot, and you have to expect that Randall will be playing out of there.
100%. And he's said in interviews that he is dialing in his playing time in the middle. So whether that be lock, whether that be front row, doesn't matter. He's rotating through the middle with less minutes to go around now, or more minutes to go around, with Joel out. Randall, lovely. Mofo, lovely.
And they already had like a pretty shallow stock of props. So losing Jolliffe actually hits pretty hard because they lost Pahulu last season. They've lost RCG. So there's a big question mark around like how that pack is going to go like in the long term.
Yep, for sure. Then we've got Latrell with a calf issue. We've got David Feeder with a rib issue and KP in a moon boot. So good to see Latrell Mitchell having soft tissue injuries so early in the preseason. We love to see that.
So unlike him.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. The other piece of news that came out was Flegler has got the absolute go ahead from the doctors to start next season.
Nice. So that's good to see.
It's a big, good feel good story. So
feel good story. I love that. That. But yeah, Latrell, I mean,
he was all but set and forget in my classic side, and I was shaping up for him in draft 2, but
can't quit Latrell. I'd have to get news that he was decapitated for me to be low on him, honestly. Like I heard that calf news, and you know what I heard when everyone was going, "Oh, stay away, calf." I heard value. I heard people just fucking let him slip. I can't quit him. I cannot quit him. And David Feeder with a rib, he'll be sweet. Even if it's giving him some bother early on, they'll just needle that bad boy up. He'll be sweet.
Yeah, I've heard from a couple of sources that both of those injuries are really just not that much of a talking point, to be honest. Yep.
And KP in the moon boot, that is a little bit worrisome because it's that foot. It's that foot injury that's lingering, getting some trouble. And these are all questions that we're going to dial in when we talk to Brian, aka the NRL physio. We'll be asking him all about these things and whether we should be worried or whether we should just, whatever, don't care. But yeah, that's the story at the moment. That's the news. Heaps going on.
Heaps of stuff, mate.
Anything you want to add to the news there, bro?
No, I mean, you've covered all the ones that I pulled out. So nice work.
Done. All right. We better get into these CTWs. It's going to be...
Kerry gets here, walks across the dead ball line, now sprints back for Manly.
Reuben Garrick, in again.
Nice velocity.
Sounded like it. Jesus.
Nice job. Let's get you a rub down.
All right. The CTWs, what are we looking for here, people? Let's start with a good base. A bit of workload coming out of their own end, coming out of trouble. We want that good, pure base. That's a great start. Base power as well, runs, tackle breaks, and offloads like Herbie or Mark Nawanga-Itawaze or Jacob Kiraz. They're like your elite guys when you're looking at the base power, or you want those goal kicking stats like someone like Holmes or Osako. Those two areas are going to prop up your CTWs and give you a nice floor. So I always like to look at that. That always steers me into reaching for certain CTWs if they've got either one of those up next to their name. Next, you want to have a look at high-scoring teams and focus on their dominant edge, especially if that team is super dominant on a particular side to increase their chances of scoring meat. That's pretty simple stuff here, guys. You want teams scoring a lot of tries, and you want the player on the edge where all the tries are fucking being scored. That's it. It's as simple as that. So if you look at last year, we're looking at teams like the Dolphins, the Sharks, and the Bunnies on their left edge. So if you had AJ when he was scoring all those tries, trying to chase that that record. You're killing it. Dolphins, Herbie, mate, Bostock before he got injured as well. The Sharks with KL Iro or Ronaldo Mulatalo when fucking Nico Hines had it on a string.
Yeah.
These are the teams you want to hone in on. And these are the things you can look at once you've downloaded the Rub files. You can have a look at all the profitable edges, both for try scoring percentages and SuperCoach points scored. Points per player per game. So you can have a look at the most successful edges next to the most successful teams, and that'll give you a really good guide as to where you need to focus your attention with these CTWs. So you combine all of that. That's when you get these elite guys. You get these elite CTWs. You get these guys with great base power. You get them playing for a high-scoring team, playing on the correct edge where all the tries are being scored, and you're just collecting points. Ding, 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 ding. They're just coming in at you left, right, and center. So very good. CTWs are very sexy.
It's a great point about being on the dominant edge because you only have to look at someone like Osako, who you mentioned before, and look, if he was playing on the left edge, he'd be one of the highest owned players in the game. But he plays on the right edge where they've been starved of the ball the last couple of seasons. So look, you really got to be honing in on where you think they'll be attacking, like the sides will be attacking in teams. And for some teams, it's easy to figure that out. Look, you look at the Bunnies left edge. You look at the Broncos, left edge. You look at some other teams like the Panthers. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be full left edge this season. Like they've flipped and flopped from left to right. So yeah, there's a few question marks over some teams, but yeah, I think there's going to be some fair dominance on certain sides from some teams. But when you've got changes in structure for the teams, like the Roosters, like it's going to be real interesting to see how that one plays out.
100%. And it's good to sort of have that knowledge in your back pocket as well about where these profitable edges lie. Because at the back end of your draft, when you know all the sexy names have been taken and there's just these CTWs left that really don't have a good average coming out of the 2025 season, don't have sexy SuperCoach names, what I like to lean on is just, are they playing for a fucking good team? And are they playing on the right edge? And I will just blindly take CTWs that tick both of those boxes.
Yeah.
Later in the draft.
And we've got three ranking sheets for different edges and stack recommendations. So yeah, definitely check that out as well.
Hells yeah, baby. All right, let's get into the top CTWs coming out of the 2025 season. Herbie Farmworth at number 1 with an 84 average. We had Zach Lomax at number 2 with a 78 average. He's obviously gone for now. For now.
We don't 100% know if that's going to be in perpetuity.
No. Number 3, Jacob Keraz with a 76 average. Dylan Lucas at 4 with a 76 average. He only played 13 games, and he's only 2RF now. Val Holmes at number 5 with a 75 average. He only played 14 games. Mark Nawang Itawaze with a 75 average at number 6. Fletcher Sharp at number 7 with a 75 average. He only played 14 games and has obviously lost that CTW. He's 5'8 only at the moment, but likely to gain CTW back. KL Iro at number 8 with a 72 average. Only played 11 games though. Taylor May at 9 with a 70 average. Only played 7 games. Tulpalotu at number 10. 69 average, only 9 games though. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck at number 11. I've added more guys here because there was a few guys that played less than 15 games, but I thought should be mentioned. Number 11, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck at 69 average. Number 12, Ruben Garrick at a 68 average. Number 13, Bradman Best at a 68 average. Bo Furman, number 14, 67 average, but he's only 2RF now in 2026.
Kicking the dick.
Max Johnston at number 15 with a 67 average, and Casey McLean, number 16, with a 67 average. So you've got 6 guys there that played under 15 games, and then you've got Lomax gone, Lucas 2RF only, Fletcher Sharp 5'8 only, and Bo Firma 2RF only. So a little bit of moving and shaking there coming out of the 2025 season.
Definitely.
Now, for the ranks, the Rough Rub ranks, we have it at the moment. We have Herbie Farmworth at number 1, Jacob Kiraz at 2, Mark Nawang Itawaze at 3, Val Holmes 4, Latrell Mitchell 5, 6, Casey McLean, 7, KL Iro, 8, Brian To'o, 9, Alex Johnston, and 10, Leahy Hopewadi. Guys that are in the hunt in the lists here, we've got Best, Stags, and Toops banging down the door there for that top 10. What's your thoughts on this top 10? Can you see any movement? Who are you happy with? Is there going to be some moving and shaking with this top 10? Give me your initial thoughts.
I'm happy with the top 5. There's zero movement in that, unless we hear about like injuries or something like that. I think Casey McLean, like I might want to have Kale Arrow ahead of him, purely because of that run at the back end of the season.
Strength of schedule, yep.
Strength of schedule for sure. Brian Toto, I think's in for a big season. We'll talk a little bit about him later. And look, AJ, I think he's going to come out firing at the start of the season, but I think he might pair off a little bit. So I'd probably have Lehigh ahead of him. But yeah, it's like I think the ones that are in the hunt, Best, Stags, and Toops. Toops could go on an absolute tear with DCE coming in this side, Robson providing really good service. Like they could go to another level, and they do have one of the better packs in the league. So yeah, I think Toops was criminally undervalued last season. I think
for sure,
because everyone's just looking at the highlight reels with Marky Mark. So yeah, I think he's definitely one that should probably be in the conversation. But yeah, apart from yourself and myself, I don't think too many people are really looking at him.
Yeah, Toop's big. I've got the same opinion on Bradman Best as well. I think he could easily come into this top 10. I could see Alex Johnston falling. I could see Casey McLean falling. Yeah.
It's a secondary syndrome for Casey McLean. Like it could potentially be that way.
And it's funny with Casey McLean and Alex Johnston, especially, maybe even Leahy Hopewadi as well. Those three, I'm not upset that they're in the top 10, and I wouldn't be surprised if we moved them outside the top 10. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy with that top 10 as it stands. But if you said, nah, you know what we're going to do? We're going to replace Casey McLean, AJ, and Leahy Hopewadi with Best, Stags, and Toops, I'd go, well, go cool.
Yeah, fair.
Sweet. So that top 13, they're the sexiest names that you want to be focusing in on, because I like all 13 of them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Righto. So with the ranks out of the way, and those ranks very well could change live on this podcast as we go through, because we've got a lot of guys to talk about, a lot of deep diving to do, but we will go through our draft categories of the elite guys, guns, sweet spot, bargain basement, and Hail Mary. Hail Mary is a bit of a fucking whatever category, because if you haven't got your CTWs sorted by Hail Mary, you're in some big strife. But there's some girth in the other categories. That's for damn fucking sure. Lots to go through here.
Depth on steroids.
Yep. And yeah, we'll cover strategy at the end of that as well. And also, if you want to listen to our CTW exclusive podcast, that'll be available on in the Rub Club Patreon later on tonight, where we talk classic options, we answer questions, and then we dive into two of our favorite CTWs coming out of this podcast. I'll be doing Leahy Hopewadi, so I won't talk about him tonight. I'll save that for the exclusive Rub. And who are you doing, Wook?
He's one of my darlings, my favorites, Brian Kelly.
BK.
Big BK.
Big glaze fest, big suck fest for Brian Kelly. Whew, can't wait.
It was gonna be someone else, but yeah, I've had him as my boom.
No, that's good. That's good. I like the chat. Brian Kelly, something different, something off cuff, and that's what sometimes
it would have been a lot easier to just do the other guy.
For sure, and that's sort of why I picked Leahy Hopewadi as well. It's like just a little bit different, someone that maybe not everyone is looking too hard at, but definitely two guys that you need to listen up, and because the stats we've got on Leahy Hopewadi and Brian Kelly, delectable, very very essential. All right, but yeah, go check that out if you are so inclined. But let's get into our first category, which is the elite guys. The elite. When this fucking works, when this presses here, can we get the sting happening?
The elite. Best of the best.
I got a boner.
All right, picks 1 to 10. So round 1 in a 10-man league. We've got Herbie Farmworth, Jacob Kiraz, and Mark Nwanga Itawaze. Now, do all three of them belong in the top 10? Maybe not. Maybe so. I don't know. I wouldn't push back on it, but I wouldn't be surprised if only one of them makes it into the top 10. But they all need to be talked about in this category, the elite. So we know what we're getting with these guys, and neither of us I sort of highlighted any of these guys to talk about because everyone is sucking their dick anyway. But I wanted to just sort of break these guys down in a sense of what they offer, but also their strength of schedule, to give people a bit of an inkling on who would you take first out of these three and how would you rank these three, because all three of them are fucking amazing. And if you've got them in your side, they're going to be a captain option. They're going to be a huge ceiling performer for you. So first up, let's look at Herbie Farmworth and his positional and team strength of schedule for the finals. Round 25, Dolphins got the 10th best. He's got the 4th best for his position. Round 26 grand final series, Dolphins 16th best strength of schedule. He's got the 5th best, Herbie. Round 27 grand final series, Dolphins 8th, and Herbie gets the 3rd best. So not a great strength of schedule there, is it?
It's, I mean, you're always hoping for better, but I mean, if there's anyone that's matchup proof in the CT Dubs, I mean, he fits the bill. He can light it up against any team.
Yeah, base power of 59.
That's outrageous.
2.6 offloads, 6.2 tackle breaks a game.
Yeah, I mean that. You don't really need to say more about that. Like we saw the run that he had at the back end of last season before he did his hammy. It was unreal.
It doesn't get much yummier than that. But the strength of schedule is pretty poor and something you need to take into consideration because really he's going to be at least a top 12 pick, right? Let's move on to Jacob Kiraz. So round 25 grand final series, you've got the Bulldogs got the 7th best. He's got the 4th best. Round 26 grand final series, Dogs 4th. Jacob has the 8th. Round 27 grand final series, Dogs 4th. He's got the 6th. So the Dogs have a really good run.
It's not bad at all.
It's very good. It's very good.
And he is, like, for getting those top tier scores, he is pretty match dependent. So yeah, I'm actually liking that. I'm liking that a lot. So
strength of schedule is head and shoulders better than Herbie. Yeah. And we talked about Herbie with his base power of 59, Jacob Kiraz base power of 57. So only 2 points lower than Herbie. But what you're getting with Jacob Kiraz is offloads and lots of them. 2023, he had 40 offloads. That was his 7th best, so 2.1 a game. In 2024, he had 53 offloads. That was the 3rd best, 2.1 offloads a game again. In 2025, get ready, Wook. This is going to get you up and about, bro. 70 offloads.
Holy shit.
Number 1, 3.7 offloads.
Whoa, that's a jump and a half.
Per game.
It's a 1.6 offloads per game jump. That's that's unreal. And to knock off guys like May and others that have been offloading at will, that's huge. That's massive.
Massive. I'm a big Herbie guy, but when I started doing these stats, I was like, well, hello, Jacob. You've taken your pants off. Welcome to the party. Last guy here, big Mark Nwanga Itawaze, last year with the Tricolours until he comes back inevitably, but he's off to Union next year. So you've got the Roosters. So round 25 grand final series, Roosters got the 6th best. Mark's got the 12th best. Round 26 grand final series, Roosters got the 8th best. He has the 16th best strength of schedule for right wingers. Round 27 grand final series, Roosters have the best, and he has the 11th best. So pretty on par.
Positionally is pretty poor for him then.
100%.
It's
And
interesting,
I guess when you look at it as a whole, pretty similar to how Herbie's is. Probably Herbie a little bit better because his positional strength of schedule is better.
Yeah.
So if you were to rank them just based on their final strength of schedule across all series, you would go Jacob Carraz 1, Herbie 2, and then Mark 3. So you've got Herbie with a 59 base power, Jacob Carraz with a base power of 57, Mark a little bit lower at 43.
Yeah. I think out of the three though, the one that kind of strikes me a little bit is not a concern, but just a bit of uncertainty in how the team will attack, and that's the Roosters. Yeah, we don't necessarily we know that they attack heavily at times on that right edge with with the switch of Walker going across to the left. I know he did a lot of attacking down the left, and then DC on the right. We know DC loves to use his edge back rowers. Will he get the ball all the way out to the wing? Because we've seen Saab get starved of ball. So that's my one concern with Nwanganituaze.
And it's a very big concern when you look at, what is Mark hanging his hat on coming out of 2025? It's tries and line breaks, right? So he had 24 tries, which is number one. He was the top try scorer for 2025. Had 23 line breaks, which is fifth overall. Had 119 tackle breaks. That was fourth overall. So that's 1 try, 1 line break, and 5 tackle breaks per game. That's the kind of output you're going to need from Mark to back that 70-plus average up. Can he do it? Fucking oath he can. Will he do it? That's the question, right?
Yeah.
And with a bit of a drop in base power compared to these other two guys, that's where that risk comes in. Now, if you're back in your gut and you're like, yep, I'm big on the Roosters, I'm big on this right edge, I love DCE with Mark out there on the wing, then you back it, then you go get him. You get him, right? But personally, I love the base power and the floor that guys like Jacob Carraz and Herbie give you. But then on top of that, that they can finish. That they can score tries. Maybe not as prolific as Mark, because he's a freak and no one can do it like he can do it. But the floor really helps me, especially when you're looking at spending a round 1, a top 10 pick on someone like this. It's those two guys over Mark. And at the moment, I might even be looking at moving Jacob Carraz above Herbie in the ranks.
Whoa, I was not expecting that. I totally support Carraz above Nwanganituaze, but far out, that's a hot take right there. And the main reason why it's a mad hot take is you're probably the biggest fan of Herbie.
100%. I'm a big Herbie guy, but you look at that strength of schedule, and it's so much better for Carraz, right? Coming off a 76 average with Herbie at an 84, I feel like there's a bit of regression in Herbie. Maybe there's a little bit of a bump in Carraz. I think they meet pretty similarly throughout the year with their average. The only difference I can see is maybe Jacob Carraz scoring more tries in the finals for you.
I think there's a bit better of a chance of an uptick for Carraz as well, because it's the first season that Galvin on his edge has had a preseason with the team. So the combinations are going to be clicking a bit better.
100%.
They're going to be better in better positions in attack.
Well, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's a 3-point bump for Carraz, sits at about that 79. Maybe there's a 3-point regression for Herbie. He sits at around that 81. All of a sudden, they're very close in average. How do you split them? And what do we always say about how you split guys when you're very close? When you're looking at both of them going, who the fuck do I pick? Strength of schedule in your finals, especially when you're looking at guys that you have to pick this early. So that's why I've come to the conclusion that maybe we have to really look at bumping Carraz above Herbie. What do you think?
Well, firstly, I'm pretty pissed off because I didn't know that you were keen on him. Carraz, that is. So yeah, he's in my classic side as well. So look, it's I think if you're going to be chasing like a high-end player, you want to have that floor, and I think it's got to be between one of the two in Herbie or Carraz. Personally, I think like Nwanganituaze is a bit more of a risk, and he's more of a guy that I would look to get as a stack if you're a believer in what the Roosters are going to be doing. Yeah, I think
I'm slipping on Mark. Mark is slipping.
Everyone's so high on him for what he did.
For sure.
Towards the back end of the years.
What a chub rub. What a guy to own.
For sure.
Fantastic. For sure. I'm holding firm on Herbie. I haven't changed my opinion on Herbie at all. He is going to be an absolute world beater. But I'm heating up on Carraz. When I looked at those offload stats, I was like, oh, yeah, baby. Like, he is worth a round one pick, Carraz, for sure.
Yeah, he was a bit of a slow burn. Look, he can heat it up big time.
If you put them on level pegging, like Herbie versus Carraz, and you don't look at strength of schedule, and you just look at them, it's Herbie. But when you take everything in, you look at these two holistically, that's when I start going, it's very close, and God, it's... And you know what? Like, for me personally, if it came down to it, I probably would take Herbie just because I had him last year and he did so well for me. But looking at this in a non-biased sense and just looking at this, and I take myself out of it, I can see a lot of merit in taking Jacob Carraz over Herbie.
Yeah. I mean, and the other thing to think about, if you're looking at other ways to separate the two, you've got a recent in inverted commas, recent hamstring injury for Herbie to consider. So there is a chance of a recurrence of that. The back issues for Carraz are in the rearview mirror. So look, he's going to be one season better from that as well. So because he had some loading issues and stuff like that to consider over the last few seasons. So I think
they're both so sexy. Jacob Carraz, 3.7 offloads a game. Herbie, 2.6 offloads with 6.2 tackle breaks a game. These cunts are elite, man. Anyway, I just wanted to sort of dive into those stats to give people a bit of an indication on how you should place these guys, because they'll all go pretty quick. They'll all go within, I would say, 6-7 picks of each other.
Yep.
And they'll drop pretty quick.
No,
so you got to get one. If you think you're going to get both of these guys, well, you might. If you turn pick, maybe.
What, CTW back-to-back picks, first, second round. That is a wild play.
What about getting Herbie and then into Mark? I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Anyway, we've spent way too long on these guys, but I did want to dive into them because it is the most sexiest chat when it comes to CTW.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right, let's get into the guns.
Guns. Lots of guns.
Mr. Burgundy, you have a massive erection.
Picks 11 to 30, rounds 2 to 3 in a 10-man league. So we've got guys like Val Holmes, Latrell Mitchell, Casey McLean, KL Iro, Brian To'o, Alex Johnston, Hopewati. Honestly, you could lump Stags, Toops, and Best in there as well. We've got that. We'll probably talk about them in the sweet spot just to break it up a little bit. But yeah, plenty to talk about. These next two categories, so picks 11 through to 70, is just going to be so fucking heavy with CTWs. And when you look at your strategy, I guess, between picks 11 and say 35, you can really do a lot of damage with your CTW picks.
Yeah.
Who do you want to talk about, bro? First up.
I'll probably go with Val Holmes. I only played the 14 games last season, got injured. But the big question for me is, like, how are the Dragons going to attack? Are they going to be improved in their attack? Because one of the key beneficiaries for a few different reasons is going to be Val Holmes. So, like, we saw the left side dominate through parts of the season. Obviously, Money Man getting a hole on the end of a few try movements, and Val Holmes getting across the line about 5 times. There are chances that could improve, but if they do improve in attack, it's going to translate to more kicks at goal, which is going to further prop up Val Holmes. And we saw from what he did last season, he punched out a 70 average. I think he can do that again, a 75 from last season, and I think that was somewhat unders for what he can put out on the field. So, look, he's definitely a player that could explode. But he's going to be a victim or a beneficiary of how the Dragons attack. And I'm not 100% sold about Atkinson being like the saviour for the side. What are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, and like we're all worried about Val Holmes moving to the Dragons and then not having as a prolific attack as the Cowboys have in past years. But he came out and just went 80 straight into a 75 average. And he was very impressive early on. Obviously had the injury, cut his season short, but I was supremely impressed with how he played at the Dragons. I don't see anything changing with how they attack. I think this left edge is still going to be the dominant edge. I mean, why wouldn't it be, right? Gutho loves the left edge sweep. Val Holmes is out there. Christian Tuipulotu is going to be out there as well. So, I mean, they're still going to make it sing down that edge. At times, it was like a 60, 65% of they were scoring their tries down that edge, which is fucking unbelievable. And we just talked about earlier about having CTWs that are playing on dominant edges. When you're talking about, I mean, even if you're talking about 50% strike rate on edges, it's just ridiculous. If you get up into the 60s, I mean, that's money for a rope. Yeah. Can you get 75 again? Of course you can. I've got no issues with picking Val Holmes. And like I said earlier, when, what are we looking at here? You've got a guy that's got decent base power, but also got the goal kicking to help his floor. There's a lot to like about Val Holmes. If guys want to pick him in round 2, I won't push back on that because you've got a CTW that's going to average 70, 75. If he can slip at the later end of round 2, sort of, 17, 18, 19, or 20, I think that's fucking huge value. Even more so if it slips into round 3, picks 20 plus. And maybe he can slip because of his injury and the fact that he's playing for the Dragons. I don't think he does. I think he's a pretty firm picks 11 through to 20. I think that's where he'll fall.
He has to fall around there.
Yeah, but I can't push back on it because he has shown us now for the last 3 years that he is a 70 average player plus no matter the team he plays in. So very, very sexy player.
Yeah.
Both Supercoach wise and in looks. Good looking rooster. That can't hurt either.
He's a buff dude.
Yeah, he's so buff, bro. Can't hurt to have a fucking good looking rooster in your team either.
And like as dependable as he is, you just got to look at his CV, his coefficient of variance, 24%. Like
24%
for a CTW, like it's just unheard of. So those are like absolute elite areas. The one thing that we haven't seen from him is those massive scores, and I mean that's testament to the CV that he's got. So look, you set and forget him to be somewhere in the range of a 60 to a 90. And that's where he lives.
And again, the base power, the goal kicking, that's saving you. That's saving you with your floor. Really good captaincy option. I think the Dragons will be a better attacking team again in 2026. I was pretty impressed with them last year and how they kept a lot of games close and stayed in games. And their success is going to be tied to how well this left edge plays and how well Val Holmes plays. He's going to be a big part of it. So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like Val. All right, I'll go next. And surprise, I'm big on Latrell Mitchell.
Wow.
He's going to be my boom. Low-hanging fruit, 64.
Low-hanging fruit, Jesus.
He'll beat that. He'll beat that. 2019 was the last full season he played at center, and that was for the Chooks at a 70 average. 2019 though, like he's a baby.
He's not the same player.
It was a billion years ago, and honestly, that 70 might have been a 90 if he's the player he is today.
Yeah.
He's been a consistently high scoring and high averaging player, averaging over 80 for the last 5 years. And that includes the 64 from last year. So over the past 5 years, he's averaged 80 points. And that includes that 64 from last year. So he's got that ceiling. He's got that SuperCoach pedigree. The issue is, and this is not a surprise to anyone, he hasn't played more than 16 games in 4 years, and he hasn't played more than 11 in the past 2 games. So back-to-back years where he's only played 11 games. The thing that I'm looking at that gets me excited is what if playing center keeps him on the paddock for longer? What if What if the grunt work? What about all the running back there and the kilometers that he puts in his legs? Because you got to remember, I don't know if you've seen this guy in real life. He is a fucking monster, bro. He is enormous.
He's huge.
He is so big. Like you go, oh yeah, he's big. You see him, he's fucking massive, bro. And he's running all those kilometers. It's got, of course, your calves and your hammies and your glutes are all going to fucking tighten up and go, right? So maybe there's less miles in the legs. Maybe those soft tissue injuries don't happen as much. And that's sort of the reason I'm big on him in the 2026 season. Although we do have a calf or soft tissue injury already. But again,
yeah, exactly.
Like I said, he'd have to fucking jump out of a plane with no parachute for me to be low on him.
Yeah.
What if he plays a similar role to Turbo did when Turbo had the 4 on his back, where in defense, he's just playing in his corridor, not running a lot, making his tackles, and in Latrell's case, just fucking taking cunts' heads off anyone that comes within a bull's roar of him.
Literally, if you're Joey Manu.
100%. And so then in attack, when you're in the red zone, he's playing both sides of the field, almost like a 5'8", and popping up on the left edge and the right edge. If that happens, now we may see a career year from Latrell. If that is how they're going to use him. And the reason I bring that up is, yes, you have Cody Walker, but you're going to have a makeshift half, whether that be Bud Sullivan, whether that be, who's the fucking kid with the biceps?
Oh, Humphreys,
or you have, there's a few guys there that could.
Ashton Ward.
There's a few guys there that do you know what I mean? There's no steadfast half there, right? So why wouldn't you use Latrell on both sides of the field and help out whoever that is on the right edge there, whoever's playing halfback? So that starts getting me right up and about. Imagine seeing him just pepper that left edge and put AJ in the corner, but then all of a sudden it's a cutout ball to AJ. That doesn't work. And all of a sudden the cunt's on the right laying on tries for Campbell Graham. I mean, erection. There's going to be a lot of blood that's going to disappear from my brain and into my penis if that happens and I own Latrell Mitchell. Then I started diving in. I got more, baby. I got more on Latrell. Don't worry about that. So that's tickling my taint as well. What if the halfback doesn't work out? What if they go back to Cody Walker playing halfback and they go, you know what? Let's try Latrell Mitchell at 5'8". And he plays five games at 5'8", and then ends up with CTW 5'8". Does the world explode?
There'd be a few fucking CTW 5'8", that's for sure.
Is the SuperCoach world ready for that? Probably not. There's a real chance that happens. There's probably a more chance that he goes back to fullback and he ends up with a CTW fullback duel, which is also sexy. But if somehow he gets that 5'8", that's fucking unbelievable. All these things are just adding up for me, just going, yep, fucking Latrell again. Let's go. I'm ready to be hurt. Now, he is a hard attack to own, but he's also the most enjoyable player I have owned since I started playing SuperCoach draft. Latrell is my favorite player to own. So he ticks so many boxes for me. I've just convinced myself, listening to myself talk about Latrell Mitchell now, I'm higher on him now than I was before I started this fucking chat.
It's such a natty comment. I've talked myself into it. I'm going to continue the glaze a little bit, but
let's glaze him.
He only had the 2 tries last season, so there's a bit of an uptick there that we're expecting. In 2024, he had 2.1 try involvements per game. That dropped in 2025 down to 1.3. I think that's going to go back up to above 2. Line break involvements, he had 2.5. In 2024 and 2025, he had 1.7. So there's a bit of a drop there. So I think there's definite upticks in a few areas. You look at the goal kicking. Last season, he had 8.7 points per game from goal kicking. Those numbers are going to go through the roof this season with the high attacking output that we're expecting from this side. It could shoot up towards maybe 14 points per game if he's kicking them well, which he hasn't in the past. The one big detraction that we'll always have with Latrell, and one of the reasons why he's a hard attack to own, is that base power average. I mean, he'll be sub 30. You can bet your bottom dollar it'll be sub 30 again.
It'll be less this year than it's ever been.
Yep. So he may be sitting on sub 20 at about 60 minutes. But then he could finish the game with 110.
But he's
never
that type
of player
because of his base.
No,
because he's just never
absolutely
had it.
not. Absolutely not.
But you're right. It'll be worse this year because he won't have the base coming out of his own end.
Absolutely.
But he'll have more try assists for sure.
Yeah, but even with those like the hit ups from fullback, you see him give it across to his wingers.
For sure.
Almost every time, and that's one of the reasons why it's already low.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to drop as much as you're probably thinking, because he's already lazy prick with that sort of stuff anyway, conserving his energy for the attacking plays.
And maybe the runs that he actually does have when he's running at smaller defenders out on the edge, there's more SuperCoach points in those runs.
Yes. No, absolutely. Yeah, running at smaller defenders, you're going to get a TB too.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Come on down, Latrell. Let's go. Stretch up, bro. Do your prep. Get your rub downs. I mean, I need you, baby. I need you. This round 2 is such a conundrum. There's so many guys I'm big on that will fall in round 2.
Yeah, it's made for a bit of heartbreak, I think, because we can't fit them all in. So we'll be missing out on someone. Just don't know who
I'm
it is
in.
yet.
I'm in love with Latrell, man. I am in love. All right. Well, who's up? You're up. I'm confused. I don't know what I'm doing.
I'll talk about Brian Toto. So he's my boom. Had a bit of a down year for him. It kind of all started with that bloody backflip that he did with his hemi issue just before round 1. Anyone who owned him, like I did, I was just shaking my head. I was like, Bizza, what are you fucking doing, mate? Anyway, look, he had an injury-affected season that we know, 61 average. You take out the injury-affected games, it was a couple, goes up to a 63. Only scored the 5 tries in 13 games. He is better than that, and he can get more involved. The one detraction for him is a guy that you're probably going to talk about in a minute, Casey McLean. Probably the most selfish footballer in the world and perfect for SuperCoach. So that's one of the big issues, and the one concern that I do have with glazing too high on Brian Toto, getting back to what we know he can do, because he can be, if he ends up on the right edge, he can be the best CTW. And we've been waiting for him to become that again, but he's just fallen from grace last season. And look, I think he can be, you can pick him up a lot cheaper than he's probably going to put out this season. So I think he's probably going to get towards like high 60s. But yeah, I don't think he's definitely not in the same sort of category as your Val Holmes and your Latrell and the other guys that we spoke about before. But yeah, he's definitely a good candidate for a big season this year, I think.
Yeah, 61, very low for Brian. You have to be pretty confident that he's going to beat that. If he does line up on the left edge, I like that more, because I'm pretty confident the Panthers are still going to be a left edge dominant team. And I think most teams have a predisposition to be a left edge dominant side just because of the right to left pass. And as we saw last year, a lot of teams, and over half of teams, were actually deficient when you look at missed tackles and line breaks conceded on their right edge defense. So it is all sort of lining up for teams just to have a higher tendency to attack down the left. And maybe Casey McLean is adding another string to his bow in the sense of like actually passing the ball.
Yeah.
Because punting last year, oh my Lord. The games that I had Milky in my multis, he wouldn't pass the ball, and then I go, okay, well I'll just bet on Casey McLean to score then, and then he would offload and just put on these silky balls that you just don't even know he's capable of. So I think it's better for Brian to be out there on the left. So yeah, easy. Righto. Let's stay on that Panthers left edge like you were talking about. Let's get into Casey McLean. 15 tries for the year last year, 73 average in 80-minute games, 75 average in 80-minute games at centre because he did play wing at the start of the season as well. Very sexy numbers here when you're talking about Casey McLean. Hard year to back up from, but I honestly think he is that guy. Like I honestly think he is that guy.
Did you see him in the internationals?
He is
Freak.
unbelievable. Do I think he's going to average 75? No. But do I think he's going to have another great year? Fuck yeah. Fucking oath. And you just sort of laid it out about how selfish he is and how willing he is to tuck the ball and just go at himself at every opportunity to score tries. Yeah, I think he's going to be a huge focal point in the Panthers' attack. I wouldn't be surprised if he averages 70. And so I'm happy to be still high on him. And it's reflected in our ranks. We've got him ranked number 6. Maybe he drops a couple of spots. I still think he deserves to be in the top 10. I think he's going to be very good. And I think he's going to be one of the best centers in the game over the next sort of decade. I think he's that good. He is unbelievable.
Yeah, and he's still so young. And it was funny that we all had the props on Jesse, his brother, and Casey just come through and absolutely killed it. I mean, like you look at the strength of schedule for the back end of the season, and both Brian Toto and Casey McLean have pretty awful strength of schedules. So I think both of them, you're probably looking to push them down below guys like Kaolero, maybe Lehigh. Whereas I do think that Casey McLean's probably going to outscore one or both of them. It's just that strength of schedule at the back end of the season, you want to have your CTWs playing against weaker opposition.
Yep. Yeah, and that is the main deterrent when you have to pick guys high, like you're going to have to with the guys that we're talking about right now.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, bro, next up.
Next up for me, Alex Johnston. Look, probably the last ride that he'll have with the Bunnies before like chasing a deal somewhere and finishing off his career in PNG Chiefs. So, look, the left edge, that's all I need to say. No, look, he's chasing the record, so I think he's going to come out of the blocks quite hard. 15 tries in 16 games last season. It's really hard to keep up with those sort of numbers, but, I mean, that backline is just ridiculous. The one concern that I do have is if things do come into fruition, like you're saying, and Latrell starts to play both sides of the field, that means that a lot of the attacking players are going to go to the right side, would have normally gone to the left side. So, yeah, it might be a little bit of a shave down for AJ, and he is a bit more susceptible to the low scores with his low base power. So you're looking at like a floor of maybe 25 to 30, which is always a bit of a concern. But he does have really high octane footy in him. So, and that team is going to be scoring at will.
Yeah, one of the all-time finishers in our game, like all-time finishers. The fact that, he does have some of those low scores in him is combated with the 2 and 3 tries that he scores in some games. The amount of doubles and triples that this cunt scores is unbelievable. The records he has against some players, like these are things that I dive into on the Chase Your Losses podcast, where it's like, I mean, I can't remember it off the top of my head. There's certain teams he's come up against where he's scored like 7 triples.
Far out. I'm guessing Titans would have to be one of them.
Probably, yeah. But he does the damn thing. He scores tries. That's what he does. Probably a name that we should bring up in the classic chat as well. Someone to start with. Might be.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I do think he's going to come out of the box pretty quickly. But The reason why I'm probably not going to start with him is that strength of schedule to start the season, it's the second worst in the league for rounds 1 to 8 for the Bunnies, and positionally for Alex Johnson on the left, second worst.
Okay.
Obviously, strength of schedule, we don't read too much into it for some positions, but for any of the backs and any of the creative players, it's big.
Especially wingers.
Correct.
All right, before we get into the sweet spot, I just wanted to mention KL Iro. He's actually my bust coming into the 2026 season. I think he's still going to be a fantastic player. I just won't be chasing what he did in the 2025 season. He scored 9 in 9 of 11 games, 10 tries, crazy strike rate of 82%.
Yeah.
Try scoring strike rate of 82%.
For a center, that's like outrageous.
That just won't be replicated. So 72 average. I see him being a very dependable 65 average with a floor of like 48. I think that's what you get out of him. And if you take your mind back to the 2024 season where he wasn't scoring tries, but he was pretty safe for a 50 every single game, no matter how the Sharks played.
Took him a while to get off the mark, didn't it?
And then he fucking just,
he just kept scoring.
That's all he did was score tries. So not only do I think that's a hard year to replicate, I think defenses are going to do a lot of video on him when they're looking at this left edge attack for the Sharks. He's going to be a focal point on how they defend him, which means maybe that opens up space for Teague Wilton or Sam Stonestreet on the outer edge as well. I just don't think he's going to have as many opportunities as he did in that season. And maybe if he did play the full season, that strike rate probably comes down a lot, and it wouldn't have been 9 out of 11 games. Maybe it ended up being 12 out of 24 games or 12 out of 23 games or whatever. The more games he would have played, we would have saw it even out a little bit, because that 82% is almost impossible.
Yeah.
You just don't see that very often. So he's going to come back to the pack a little bit. Do I still think you should draft him? 100%. Just don't expect him to score every single fucking game.
No, it's definitely not a player that's going to get you too many favors. But they do have a good strength of schedule at the back end of season, which is for the Sharkies. I mean, it was interesting, like last season, that him and Renato Mulatalo, they would interplay with one another. So, like in some circumstances, Renato would come in and play center. Kaolero would go out on the wing, and like some of the attacking plays you get via that. With Stonestreet, I think he'll stay in his lane a bit more.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. Because I think
some of those tries were scored on the wing.
Yeah, Ronaldo's probably the one who was pushing for it as well. So I think there is a bit of detraction just from that alone.
For sure, 100%. But don't get it twisted. Love Kaolero. I think he's going to be great. But yeah, just don't be chasing that 72 average. Don't be chasing all those tries either.
Yeah.
Right. Let's move on. Let's get into the sweet spot.
That's your sweet spot right there.
Oh my God.
Oh, fuck. Oh, my God. Fuck yeah.
All right. Picks 31 to 70, rounds 4 to 7 in a 10-man league. Like I mentioned earlier, we've got Stags, Toops, and Brabham Best here. Very easily could make their way into picks 30 or below, but we've got them in the sweet spot anyway. We've got Shibasaki in here, Taylor May, Canicola, Murray Talangi, Philip Sammy, Dane Gagai, Ruben Garrick. Ooh, Ruben Garrick's got some he's got some dish soap on him, old Ruben Garrick. Xavier Coates, Nick Meaney, Steph Crichton, Christian Tuipulotu, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Jackson Purdue, Paul Alamotti, Josh Adokar, Bailey Simonson, Jermaine Sacco, Braden Burns. So lots of guys. We won't talk about every single one of them. It's impossible to cover all the guys.
We'll be here till next week.
I think we're doing a pretty good job of talking about the guys that we've done so far. I mean, we are an hour and 14 minutes into the podcast. Still got lots of guys to talk about. Now, if we miss guys that you really want to hear our analysis on, just ask us. And but don't go, hey, you didn't talk about blah, blah, blah. Go, hey, did you guys realize that Tolatu Kola has this, and this, and his stats and this? Give us some stats to back it up. Give us something that's going to make us go, And if we do go, maybe we will talk about him in the next podcast before we talk about the fullback. So just keep that in mind. If you're listening along and you're like, I really wanted him to cover this guy, I'm big on him, slide into those DMs. But also got to think, if we haven't talked about a guy that you're big on, that might work in your favor as well.
Yes, exactly.
That might work in your favor.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some sweet spot guys here. You can go first.
I'll talk about one and then I'll talk about another. Tony Staggs, just fucking awesome. It was good to see him like at the back end of the season go absolute ham. Do I think he's going to do it again? Love to say 100% yes.
There's a lot of mistrust there, isn't there?
He's burned me a few times, and there's been a few false dawns with him being a SuperCoach asset. So, yeah, I'll be watching him in someone else's side this year.
Yep, I agree. Me too.
Daniel Toops, look, I spoke about him a little bit earlier. He was the forgotten man with all the stuff that Marky Mark was doing. But look, you just have to look at what he did last season. He had that 65 average, scoring tries at will. You've got Walker moving over permanently to the left side. I think the kicking game cross field from DCE is going to help as well. Like, I think there's a lot of positives to come out of like the positional change, like the structural changes for the team. So I do like Toops. Is this his last ride as well?
Not sure. He is getting on. He's a bit long in the tooth.
They got Garrett coming in to replace Nwangani Tuaze on the right, but he's getting towards that. Look, it could be either his last ride or penultimate. But yeah, he's definitely a guy that I'm really keen on, and I think he can replicate those 19 tries from last season as well.
For sure, he's been great the last couple of years. A 69, then into a 65. Love Sam Walker out there. That Harbour Bridge pass, that little. It's not really a bomb. It's not a chip. It's like in the middle.
It's halfway between, yeah.
But that kick, that sort of height is so perfect for someone like Daniel Tupu.
Oh, for sure.
It's so perfect because he can just get after it, and not many can out-jump him. So, like I said, definitely. 19 tries, very doable again, especially if he links up with Sam Walker nicely. Yeah, dependable, man. He just does it every year. It every year.
100.
All right, I'm going to talk about Bradman Best. I was very, very fucking surprised about Bradman Best's stats for 2025. He just went under the radar. He had a fantastic year, Bradman Best. No one really talked about him. We definitely didn't talk about him. When the Knights were absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
Dog shit, which is probably why we didn't talk about him. But he had a career year. 67 average. So straight up. Great by him in a shit team. He's got a base pair of 47. Just really quietly went about his business. And the fact that he strung together a 67 average in such a pus team, outside a 5'8", who doesn't pass the ball, only runs the ball, I was like, oh, that kind of blows my mind that he was able to do that. And I didn't even notice it. So, apologies to Big Braddy Best, because he fucking killed it. He scored 6 tries. Plenty more of them in him.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Plenty more of them in him. Now, I've already talked about how arousing this left edge is going to be. He's very intriguing. Strength of schedule isn't bad. I mean, it isn't great, but it isn't terrible. I just think he's building. I think he's building. His CV was 40%, which is the second lowest it's been in his career. Pure base of 34. Yeah, I just looked at it and just went, oh, okay. There's some building blocks here that if the Knights are a little bit more successful than they were last year, which I can guarantee you they will be, he could turn that 67 into a 70 quite easily. I mean, 6 tries.
It wouldn't take much, would it?
He could score 6 more. He could have him ending the season with 12 tries is well within the realm of possibilities. So Bradman Best needs to be looked at very hard, and he's a guy that's going to slip. He's a guy that's got value stamped on his fucking forehead. He's a guy that's got value tattooed on his calf or his quad because we know he loves a leg tat.
He does. He does. The big concern that I have is we did see it a few times last season. Like there was about a half a dozen scores or more that were sub 40. So he's got those games in him as well as the higher octane games. So it's not buyer beware, but you just got to be mindful of that. He could be dropping a lower game, but the fact that he only had the 0.8 try involvements per game last season, and you consider the left edge that they'll be having this season, like he could almost double that. If I'm honest, like he's definitely one that I'm really keen on. And the other thing we haven't mentioned is they have a really strong strength of schedule to start the season, but at the back end of the season they've got a good one as well in the finals. And because they've got the round 27 bye, he's a bit of a put a line through him for the round 27 grand final teams. However, he's only got 2 buys for the rest of the season if you're around 25 or 26 grand final. So definitely one to definitely put in your black book for sure.
Yeah, probably won't play Origin. So
I wouldn't 100% say that, but
there'd have to be some injuries. Let's just put it that way.
There'd have to be injuries, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we've already seen that. Trell's probably
don't you talk about injured. My boy like that? Don't you dare get that out of your
Turbo
mouth.
loves an injury,
mate. And that's the other thing with Latrell as well. He will play State of Origin. So there's.
Do you reckon Stags is ahead of Best in the pecking order for Blues?
Maybe now, after that back end of the season that he had. And obviously playing for a premiership team as well. I would say so. Campbell Graham is up there as well. I mean, Campbell Graham is made for State of Origin.
Yeah, he is, but he hasn't reached the heights before he had his back issues. So I can't see him getting... Unless he has a cracker.
If they took a leaf out of the Maroons book, you just pick defensive centers.
True.
They just picked Rob Toyer. Just go, yep, he's a kid. We know he can tackle. Look how that worked out. And maybe they need to pick a fucking defensive center. Like you pick Campbell Graham, no one is getting past him.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, yeah, selections are going to be very interesting. They've done that with
Stephen Crichton to a degree.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. All right, who you got next, bro?
So just looking through, like we spoke about him earlier. We've put him in the list here, but I think he's just a do not worry about. And that's Greg Marju. So I think we just need to fade the big fella. He's just not going to be relevant with Sika Telefy. That role coming in.
Big Sika.
Big Sika.
Big Sika flex.
Sika flex. Yeah, so look, I just think that he's not going to be relevant. And with the size of benches that we're talking about, with the six players, 4 getting used, there's chances that he's going to be an 80 nightmare on top of things. So, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, fair. I won't be looking at him, that's for sure.
Exclude in your pre-draft list.
What about your bust? I mean, talk about low-hanging fruit. Where's your bust?
Well, I mean, my bust is Ruben Garrick.
Jeez. Shock me.
Well, you left the door ajar, so...
Actually, someone did.
Am I just going to leave that hanging or what?
Someone did mention to me in DMs about you collecting low-hanging fruit every single podcast. So it's been noted. It's been noted by the rubbers.
Yeah, for sure. I'll take that.
Layups.
Look,
open court layups.
We compare at the end of the season, so I don't necessarily want to be going too crazy with the goals.
Fair.
But I do throw a few wild ones out there.
So he won't be kicking, so he's not going to score as many points.
So he loses the goal kicking. He'll lose about 8 points just on that. I do think that there is going to be a bit of progression in his score, just with like some increase in his attacking output. But yeah, it's not going to match that 8-point regression.
Yeah, you'd think he'd sort of fall back to maybe a 60 average, something like that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to sort of put a few guys in the Gatling gun and just smash out a few guys in this sweet spot here that I'm pretty keen on. Taylor May, fucking the throat goat, my man, my boy. 70 average in the 2025 season, scored 4 tries in 7 games. Strike rate, unbelievable. Averaged 12 points a game in tackle breaks. Had 7 offloads in 7 games, 20 points a game in runs. He's a weapon. In his return to the NRL, he had 190 and 200-plus games over just 7 outings. Now, that sort of strike rate you can't sort of replicate, but I think he's going to be unbelievable.
And he came back mid-season.
Yeah.
He came back mid-season after not playing for best part of a year.
And they quickly realized that, like, just get this guy early ball. And he was terrorizing defenses. Now, the SOS is pitiful, but where you'll draft...
woeful.
Yeah, but where you'll draft him, I don't think it's going to matter too much. Like this, we're talking sort of outside your top 5 picks, which is whatever.
Now, is he pushed down in like the natural pre-draft order because he only played the 7 games, or is that only sub 5 games? Because you know how some players, if they got like a crazy average, but they've only played like a handful of games, they're already pushed down.
Good question.
Because like if he's placed in the pre-draft list at his average from last season, which is about 70,
he's going to be way
there
up
is
there.
There is a chance that he might be overdrafted rather than underdrafted.
Yep. Yeah. Which is good for you as well. Like whether he slips,
it's great for us, and if he doesn't, it's also great for us because there's a value on the rest of the board.
100%. So I love him. Love Talamay. I love Muzz Talangi. I love this left edge for the Cowboys. Muzz Talangi, he had 12 tries in 15 games, scored in 10 of the 15 games he played, so a 67 strike rate. I mean, we talked about an 82% strike rate before with K. Aliro. 67, still going to be hard to replicate in 2026. Even when he was out and Burns did come in and play left wing, Burns scored every fucking game. So it just goes to show you that this left wing spot for the Cowboys is one of the more profitable spots in the NRL at the moment. Cows left 59% of their tries went down that left. That is the highest percentage of any edge, an average 60.2 points per game per player on that left edge. That is the most successful edge in the comp coming out of 2025. 66, it's a career year, so it is going to be hard to back that up. But why I am interested is just that real estate. At real estate, he's got a good base. There's going to be tries. I just think people aren't respecting Muzz yet. Now, if he strings together another season that's sexy like this, maybe they will be, but I don't think the respect is going to be there in 2026 drafts. And I think he'll slip, and I think he needs to be picked up a little bit earlier than what people are going to be taking him at. So I think value is written all over him. What's your thoughts on Muzz?
Yeah, I think Muzz is definitely one that he should be in more teams. Well, he should have been drafted a lot higher than he was last season. We had question marks over him with Holmes leaving, like you mentioned. It's put that to bed quite quickly.
100%.
So look, he's going to be one that, like the Cows have a good start to the season. He's got a sensational start to the season. So round 1 to 8, he's got the second best strength of schedule for left wingers. So definitely one that you should consider starting with as like a more dependable, high ceiling option as your premium CTW option. Look, I don't think he like the Cows obviously have that bye in round 25, and it looms quite heavily over any of the Cowboys that I look at. He's getting to like where you're going to be picking him up is probably round 5, 6. I do think that by that stage, you're not looking at it as closely, those buys.
He's replaceable.
Means a bit less. He's replaceable for sure.
Yep. Well, while we're here, do we have Burns in this category?
Yeah,
yes, we do. Let's talk about Burns. Yeah, let's talk about Burns because we've got the Cowboys on the mind here. Braden Burns, base power, 48. Burns him, my man. 7 tries in 13 games, 65 average. If you take out his injury-affected game, it's going to be a 69 average, 32 in pure base. The 3 games that he didn't score a try on the wing, he has a 67 average. So even without tries, He's looking very sexy. The problem is he's not going to be on that left wing. He's likely to be on that right wing. Now, there were times throughout the season that the right was firing, and they can, sling the ball out there and score tries on that right wing. I just don't think it's going to be as prolific as the left edge. But God, I love Burns. He has got so much about him. Every time he runs the ball, he's breaking tackles, and he's always looking for that offload as well, as reflected with his base power. Like, you're looking at a base power that's, sitting above Mark Nonwing-Itawaze. So has to be respected there for Burnsy. Just unfortunately, he's going to end up on, which I assume is going to be the less dominant edge for the Cowboys.
Yeah, so long as Dearden's running the show on the left, I just don't see a huge amount of uptick on the right. From my side, I'm looking at Nick Meaney. So he only played only goal kick for part of the season last year. So I think there's an uptick due for that. Also, if Farlongo goes down at fullback,
exactly,
Nick Meaney's the guy to replace him. And look, he will average around about the 70-odd mark from fullback. So he's definitely one that I'm looking at. Just if he can slip a little bit, I'm all about it. I just don't think that's going to be the case. I think everyone's going to be pretty switched on with that. Obviously had that 61 average last season. He's got a middling sort of base power at 38. So the floor's a bit of a concern, but I mean, he only had 6.3 points per game from goal kicking. I think you can put another 4 points on that pretty comfortably at the Storms. Do I think he's going to be a 70 average player? No. Do I think he can get 65? Absolutely. And that's kind of where I've got him pegged.
Yeah, and you said like if Sua Falongo gets injured, I reckon if Sua Falongo strings together 3 bad games, could be Nick.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Like it could be the case that they put him on the wing even. Try wall brick in the centers or something. Like it's. Or they put him on the bench. Like they've got those extended benches now. So
exactly,
yeah. There's a whole raft of ideas that Bellyache could be coming through.
Nick Meaney, that was a bit of a down year for him. 61. The year before he had 63. The year before that, a 68. So yeah, he is capable of being up that mid 60s.
That 68, it kind of harks back to what I was saying. He's about a 70 average player when he plays fullback. That was a season that Paps was out most of the year.
Yeah,
at fullback.
Yeah.
Other guy I wanted to talk about, we spoke about the Cows earlier, Jackson Purdue. I mean, we've spoken about him heaps. Positional shifts, most likely moving into the halves. I do love that. It's going to be big for him. He had a cracker of a season last year. Second year syndrome, maybe there. The big concern in his average of 57, he's got 14 tries. A lot of them scored through the center position, so he's probably not going to get those. But he will be getting a fair few attacking stats. So that is something where it'll prop up his score a little bit.
Yeah, like we said in the 5'8 potty, it's a jewel. It's the jewel, the sexy jewel that you're after.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a few options that are floating around now that could be getting them in round 6 or a little bit later. So yeah, keep an eye out.
Last guy I'll talk about before we'll move on. You'll have one more guy to talk about, but I want to just mention Phil Sammy.
I talked about underrated, undervalued, like just by the club and everything. Oh.
Base power 46. In 2025, Phil Sammy averaged 7.2 points a game in tackle breaks, 3.6 a game in offloads, and 30 points a game in runs. He averaged 18 runs a game, scored 15 tries. I don't think people are talking about Big Phil enough. No. He is a weapon, and I think he's going to be a big part of the Titans' attack. I think he's going to have a more cemented role in the attack for the Titans as well. And don't sleep on Phil. Phil's going to be a nice value play. And with that floor to work from, with that base power, it's going to prop him up. You're going to be happy with him week in, week out. And then all of a sudden, he scores a try. And for a guy like Phil, who's making 18 runs a game and getting 30 points a game just in runs alone. One try turns into 80 points very fucking quickly.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's he's the type of player that you do want in your side. He can be the anchor for your CTWs. Yeah, I love him as like probably a second or third CTW. Like the perfect kind of swing position. No, I love him in attack. He played almost all positions except for fullback in the back line last season. Played left wing, right wing, left centre, right centre. They don't 100% know how to use him, but wherever he plays, he scores well. So
some of those games last year, it was Brian To'o-esque. That's how well he was playing. That's how many tackles he was breaking, how many runs he was having. Man, he's got that in him. He's very sexy.
The highlight of his career was when he did the Gutherino over Gutho. That was still the highlight for me for film semi.
He's a weapon. He's a weapon. He's been pretty consistent the last couple of years too, like a 60 average into a 64. So, yeah, I think people are going to sleep on Phil. Don't do it.
No, I don't disagree.
He's a weapon.
Other guy, kind of mentioned him a little bit at the start of the podcast, Jermaine Asako. Just about the left side dominance starving him of the ball, and realistically with the side that they've got, it's probably going to continue. I'm not saying fade him, but he's at his average. His average is his value.
Yeah, fair. Hard to pick him if the Finns keep attacking the way they have been last couple of years. But
yeah, he's a safety net type of player though. He's got like that golden kicking boot. It saves the blushes for sure.
Yep. And if for some reason the Finns just decide to go back to the right, and we know they can do that, you could have an 80 average.
Yeah. And if you pick him up at his average value from last season, yeah, mate, you've hit the jackpot.
Huge. All right, let's get into the bargain basement.
The battle of wits has begun.
Well, that's the way bargain basement works.
I'm very aroused.
So pick 71 to 110, rounds 8 to 11 in 10-man leagues. We're looking for value here. We've got Josiah Karapani, Robert Toya, AKP in here, Dom Young, Brian Kelly, Bronson Sherry, Sam Stone Street, Dean Mariner, Savelio Tamale, Matty Tomoko, Selwyn Cobbo, Jake Avarillo, Billy Smith, Max Fege, Jesse Ramian, Will Panasini, Isaac Tungo, Will Warbrick, Campbell Graham. Names of that ilk. I'll kick it off with Josiah Karapani, your boy.
Oh, he had a cracker of a season last year.
He failed to score a try in only 2 games last year. Strike rate of 80%, which is, as we said earlier, fucking almost impossible.
It's not easy to replicate that.
No, but we have said this. The band looks like it's back together on that left edge with Mam. Walsh. Should be a lot of tries scored down that left edge. A lot of tries for Josiah Karapani. Assume this Broncos left edge will be the dominant edge in attack. His ceiling is pretty fucked though. Like when he's scoring tries, you'd expect him to be, especially some of these games where he's scoring doubles, you expect him to be getting over 100, but like he's tipping out at like sort of 80s. So keep that in mind. That's a worry, but I just think the tries will continue for Josiah Karapani. So I like him. I don't think people are going to be clamoring over each other to go get him. I think the value is still going to be there. I think the tries are still going to be there. Just keep him in mind when you start getting into these sort of round 7, round 8 areas and you're like, holy fuck, okay, I need one more spot for my CTWs. He does tick those boxes in the sense that like plays for a high-scoring team and he will be playing on the edge that they will be dominant at. So don't mind him. Don't mind him as a value play.
He's definitely one that I've been looking at the start of the season. I've had massive concerns about Grant Anderson coming in, but I don't think he's going to get the position straight up. He's definitely like Karapani's definitely one that I'm looking at quite closely. I think like with how he went last season, like you hit the nail on the head. The try scoring record, I just feel like it's going to be really hard to replicate.
Bro, double, try, no try, try.
Yeah.
Crazy. But honestly, if the Broncos are fucking half the team they were at the back end of last season, the tries are going to be there.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. It's as a Broncos fan, I want to have at least one or two Broncos in my side. I just feel like Karapani's probably going to be going a little bit higher than I want to take him. And look, the 40% of his games were over 80 points last season. So look, I just don't think he can really hit those heights, because look at someone like Christian Tuipulotu, absolutely killed it last season. He only did 44% of games above 80 points. And yeah, I just got my reservations about Karapani.
And this is the thing.
Just about 33 base powers.
And that's why we've got him pick 71 plus. Now, he may go before that, but we are comfortable taking him pick 71 plus, because that's where we think the value lies with Karapani. Maybe that's more of a 58, a 59, 60 average than compared to the 64 average that he's sitting at. So we're sort of downgrading him a little bit. But if you are looking for a CTW in this range and he is there, this is sort of the area that we take him.
Yep. No, totally.
Talk to me, son. What do you got?
It's going to be really hard until we get some clarity on teams, but I do like AKP. Now, the left winger for the Waz has averaged about 66 points last season. So if he can nab that spot, I'm all of a sudden very fucking keen. My concern is I haven't really heard much out of the Waz about their team structure and how they're going to be lining up, especially the back line. So there's a few moving parts and a few things to iron out before I can absolutely go balls deep into it. But yeah, he's one that's on my radar. He's definitely the type of player that give you a bit of a heart attack to own, because he can score a try and still only score about 50 points.
Base is horrible.
But the base is it's atrocious.
20.
It's atrocious.
20 base.
It's probably the lowest out of the top 40. It is actually the lowest out of the top 40. It's awful. And the fact that it's worse than Latrell tells you something. But he's got those high octane games in him. He can score doubles and triples quite easily. He's a finisher. He's one of the fastest players in the game. But yeah, there's a few question marks around it. So he's one that I'll be monitoring probably more so for Classic than for draft, because it's just a big risk to take with him. And I don't know whether the uplift is going to be good enough to make it worthwhile.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. It's hard for me because like the left winger averaged 66 for the Waz last season. That was Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. That 66 is probably a 49 in AKP's hands.
Yeah. Especially because you got that base power from RTS just kicking absolute goals. So yeah, he got double it. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to talk about my sleeper here, Sam Stone Street, who will no doubt take up that left wing spot while Ronnie Mulatalo is out. You may not even see Ronnie Mulatalo for the 2026 season, so he will be gone for a huge portion of the season and, maybe the whole season. Ronnie, he's had at least 17 tries a year for the past 4 seasons. So although Ronnie's a better player than Sam Stone Street, that just goes to show you that left edge is humming and has been humming consistently for the past 4 years. The ball is singing out there. He played 10 80-minute games to start the year, scored 8 tries, 4 doubles, and averaged 56 in those games. So not a great base. But yeah, we're talking about picking him, pick 70 plus. In 2024, he scored in all 5 games, and he averaged 65 So we know we can finish. He's scoring a lot of fucking tries. He actually loves scoring doubles. 7 doubles in his past 12 games. That's a 58% strike rate to score a double.
Wow.
Yeah, for doubles. 7 doubles in 12 games.
Some players are killed to have a strike rate just for singles of that.
Oh, if you just said a 58% strike rate, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So he can finish. We know he can finish, and we know this left edge is going to be humming for the Sharks. I don't think people are thinking hard enough about Sam Stone Street. I think they go, oh yeah, he's going to be there, but yeah, look, he's never averaged well. He's not going to do like. I love Sam Stone Street as a late pickup. Say you're running with 4 CTWs, and Sam Stone Street just happens to be your 4th CTW. You've done very well, very well.
And I think he becomes a really good trade out target come round 10. Or like to get someone who's got a good strength of schedule in finals when Stone Street may or may not be there.
For sure.
So
100%.
yeah, I love that as a play.
Mate, wait until he strings together 4 doubles because we know he loves doing that, and then go, who wants him?
No, exactly. You love a bit of a shop around like that.
That's when I spam the chat with photos of the player that I'm trying to trade. I'm trying to trade out.
Right,
the best.
The fishing expeditions that fucking is in
no
our
one
chat.
Bites. No one ever bites.
No one. Everyone knows all your tricks. Guy I'll talk about next is someone I'm really keen on, and he was pretty close to being my chubbo actually. Sevilla Tamale. He pulled together a really solid season. So ended up with a 55.9 average, but you take out his injury affected games, jumps up to a 60 average. So he's all of a sudden someone who I'm really keen on. Only scored the 6 tries as well out of 16 games. I think he can go a lot higher than that. So I do think that he's one that I'll be putting up a little bit further in my rankings than we've put out. But look, I think that I'd draft him ahead of Stone Street. I'd probably draft him ahead of Bronson Sherry, Dean Mariner. I think there's big question marks around Dean Mariner's position, especially towards the middle of the season. I think Grant Anderson's too good to be held in reserve grade. So there's a few question marks on that. I think there's huge potential for Tamale to have an absolute cracker of a season. However, one of the reasons why we've pushed him down in the ranks a little bit is that round 26 they've ruined so many grand final systems. But if you're a round 25 grand final system, push him up for sure.
He's a tackle break merchant. I'm just looking at here.
He's outrageous.
26 points a game, 18 points a game, 20 points a game, 12 points, 14 points, 22 points, 18 points a game in tackle breaks. Buck, he can break a tackle, the big fellas. So doesn't mind an offload as well. Got plenty of them in the games that he played, and so young, so inexperienced. So I like this call. That base pair of 42, I wouldn't be surprised if that goes up to like a 47, 48 base power for the 2026, and that floor is going to be very sexy.
Easily,
and again, the buy isn't great, but where you're picking him, he's going to be replaceable. You're not spending a whole lot on him.
No, definitely. Like he had the 5th highest TBs per game last season, so he was ahead of Toto. He was ahead of Payne Haas. He was ahead of Taylor May. There was only a handful of players in front of him. To be fair, definitely one that screams value.
I do like it. He's probably maybe the sexiest name in this list in the bargain basement here. I really do like him. A guy I want to bring up is the Penis, Will Penasini. I like
we love talking about a bit of penis, don't you?
Love penis. Love it. Clip that up. So
don't worry.
if you could, you can't. We know that you don't have the skill. I'll clip it up for you.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
No worries. So he had an injury-affected game, probably bumps him up to sort of like a mid-50s average. I think with Mitch Moses healthy, running this right edge for the Parramatta Eels is going to be the dominant edge. Where we're picking him, I'm okay with it. He does have some sexy games. He can score a try as well. Because I bring him up because Rando loves him as a anytime try scorer, as a roughie, and he has banged on him quite a lot. So when there's a good matchup there, the penis can go through, slide on through. The penis can. Yeah.
Look, I've owned him in seasons gone by, and he's pretty dependable. Doesn't have a high ceiling, doesn't have a horrible floor. He just does the job. So look, in this sort of bargain basement area, I don't hate the play, to be honest.
Yeah, can find some penetration.
Can penetrate the line. Yep. I got that one. Nice. Let's move on. There's two last guys that I want to talk about before we can bugger off this section. Selwyn Cobbo as a bit of a shy at the stumps. Now, left wing to start the season, and that's until Bostock returns.
Are we sure, though? I've heard whispers that he is going to play right centre. Have you heard those whispers?
No. So where does Avarillo go? On the wing, on the stick?
Left, right out.
What? Avarillo was like probably one of their top players last season.
Yeah. I don't think he's with them in 2027.
So
these are just whispers. These are just rumors, but I have heard that people have seen him train at right center.
Right. Well, if that's the case, I'm fading on him a little bit more. However, having him on the right wing, right edge, does that attract more ball? Because all of a sudden you've got Cobbo, who's an amazing creator, can break a tackle, can put them in positions, and then you've got Osaka, who's a noted finisher. Like, maybe they go the two-prong approach.
Well, you've got to think it's better for his draft stocks, Selwyn Cobbo, because you've got more chance of him playing the entire season if he starts at right centre.
Because I was looking at him more on the basis of him being a nice sell high option after maybe 5 rounds. But shit, like, yeah, I mean, his output's probably not going to be as sexy, but yeah, that solidity, the whole team, like, attacking structure might change if that's the case as well. I like this.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably going to put him a little bit higher on my pre-drafts then, if that's the case.
Like I said, there might not be that ceiling and the opportunity to score as many tries, but his position will be more cemented if he is lining up in that right center.
And like similar to some of the other players that we've spoken about, that the high octane players that, look, they might have lower base, but they have an opportunity and they can put a 35 to 40 point score in a single play. He's that type of guy.
Yep.
So yeah,
these are just whispers though. He could very well be the left wing, but these are just some of the things I've heard around the traps.
Definitely one that will need to get confirmed, but yeah, there is some movement then. Speaking of movement, Maxi Fige moves across from the Dolphins to the Titans. Not the sexiest of pickups, but he killed it when he was playing at the Dolphins last season. So, look, if he can nail one of those backline positions, the Titans go hard, man. So if he can get like a left edge spot, it's a good position to be in. So I thought that he might be picking up the left center spot or the left wing spot. So we'll see what happens with that. But there's a whole raft of players having their names bandied about. So I don't think you have to spend anything more than like your 16th or 17th pick on Maxi Fige. But just keep an eye out, keep an ear to the ground, just to figure out who that backline position is going to go to.
Yep, nice.
Sammy's got one locked up. Jojo Fafita's got one locked up. Who the fuck knows for the rest?
Yeah. Yep, and obviously with Brian Kelly leaving, it's opened a center spot as well. What's going to happen there? So some moving pieces there at the Titans for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we better keep this moving. Let's get on to the Hail Mary segment.
Hail Mary time here, 4 seconds.
We're going to bet it all.
You son of a bitch! I'm in!
So this is just...
I think we can only spend 4 seconds on this, so that's great.
Not a lot doing here. There's a lot of backups involved. There's a lot of gamble picks that you want to take here. Not a lot. I'd be looking at teams that, are throwing up a few names in the team list, like the Titans, who have got a lot of attack in them. Like if you get a young guy that's going to line up on the left or right wing that no one's heard of, that's a play. These are the guys that you want to be looking at if they're playing for a high scoring team. Not a lot of them here, but names like Jack Howarth for the Storm. You can do worse at this pick. Tyrell Sloan, if he locks down that right wing for the Dragons, maybe he obviously can fucking score tries. Who else here, bro?
On his day, matchup dependent. Saab. I don't mind a bit of Sione Katoa. I know you're not a fan. Like next man up sort of situation. That's Tavita Nafahu. Holy fuck, he killed it when he filled in, but he's probably 2 injuries away at the moment. So
if Selwyn Cobbo starts the year at right center, does Tavita Nafahu play left wing until Jack Bostock comes back?
Whoa, if that's the case. Like he was lighting it up on that left wing spot. So like he needs to be put in the conversation if that's how it plays out. I'd be utterly shocked if, are they just putting Averillo on that extended bench now?
Maybe
and let's have him as a utility along with Fuller.
Maybe.
Fuck. Yeah. Moving parts at the Dolphins.
100%, bro. 100%. Blokes like Marcelo Montoya for the Dogs, obviously on that left wing. You could do worse there. Adam Pompey for the Warriors.
Sonia Taruva.
Honestly, if you're looking for a CTW this late, it's going to be a gamble, and I'd rather try and lean into Jules this late in your draft. And because of how high we rate CTWs on the ranks for importance in draft, if I'm searching for a CTW for a starting spot this late, something terribly has gone wrong.
I want to have probably 3 CTW spots by my 10th pick.
Bro, I'm thinking 3 spots by round 7.
Okay. There's 100% merit to that.
I'll be leaning pretty heavily into CTWs for 2026.
Yeah.
It's a bit different. It's a bit different for us because we only need 2.
Yeah.
But that could be meaning I might have 2 by round 4. I might have my CTWs done.
Yeah, you absolutely need 2 CTWs in your first 5 picks. That's a non-negotiable. But yeah, depending on the value that sits out in front of you, maybe you do go 3 by 7.
I like it. I'm very big on CTWs. Very big on CTWs. All right, let's get into the happy ending and start talking about some strategy plays.
You want happy ending?
I got a booty.
Let me break it down for you so you understand. I'll hold your hand like a small child. Oh, fuck. Oh, my God. Fuck yeah.
Now, in the 2025 season, CTWs made up 37% of the top 100 averaging players with at least 15 games under their belt, which was obviously the highest representation of any position because there's just more of the cunts. 30 of those 37 CTWs averaged over 60. Only 5 averaged over 70, though. Of the 37 top CTWs, 38% of that number sat between 20 and 50 of the top averaging players. So what does that tell you? That tells you that from rounds 2 through to 5, you can really do some fucking damage with your CTWs. So say you prioritize your fullback, halfback first, going a CTW back-to-back picks with your 3rd and 4th pick has a lot of validity behind it. Like honestly, I'm leaning more into like a round 2 pick for your first CTW, but it's clear that post round 1, so picks 11 through to say picks 45, heavy CTW. That's your CTW realm. You're living in the CTW realm, and everyone should be looking for the best next man up in your drafts. Now, I'm firming that CTW is the second most important position when drafting. So going a fullback into a CTW and then circling back to your halfback, because there is a little bit of depth there at the halfback position. I think that's a great strategy. And because halfback and fullback will probably dominate the first 10 picks, like the first round, I think if you go with your first pick a halfback, I still think CTW can be your second pick and circle back around to get a fullback in your third pick. I think there still is enough depth at the fullback and halfback position to pick them up in the third round. Now, I wouldn't be pushing it past the third round. That's when it starts getting dicey. But I still think I'm going to be looking very heavily in round 2 for a CTW with my second pick. CTW is almost like second pick is almost like a locked in CTW for me, regardless of how I go first round. Because most likely coming out of round 1, you'll get a halfback or fullback. Now, if you're late in round 1, maybe that's where you can go a CTW first and then back it up with another pick. But statistically, like what are fullbacks and halfbacks are going to make up of the top 10? 80%? 75%. So statistically, you're going to come out of your first round with a halfback and fullback. And I'm firming that CTW belongs as your second pick. I really do like it.
Yeah, like very little pushback on that because, we've seen year in, year out for the last 5 years, the growing importance of the CTWs with like the scoring potential they've got in the modern game. It's just it's ridiculous. And you're seeing like players just take on a different form. Like you've got the tackle break machines, you've got the offloading monsters, you've got the guys who just do the damn thing with their H8s and hit ups. Like it's, like there's some guys that just tie it all together, like your Herbies, your Carrazes. So it's massively important position. Realistically, by round 4, you want to have 2 CTWs. Because I think that's where you'll get your most bang for your buck at the start of the draft.
And if you've put a lot of thought into your final strength of schedule as well, and you've picked a fullback who has a good strength of schedule, who is obviously going to be high ceiling guy, a captaincy option every week that with your first pick, and you back that up with a CTW who also has a great ceiling, who also has a good strength of schedule in your final system, and you make it to the finals, you are going to be a very scary prospect for people to come up against. Because by that point, people are going to clue in on what you have and the weapons that you have, and they're going to be going, fuck.
Uh-oh.
How did he do this? And you go, well, I fucking thought about it before I drafted, cunt. Put some thought into it, you idiot. So that's why I like it, especially in a captain's league, like coming into the finals and just having ceiling guys that can go ballistic who are coming up against poor defensive sides. I mean, sign me up, pal.
VCs for days.
Jesus, oh my Lord. Yeah, so this is probably the year that I've been the highest on CTWs. I'm big on it. And the stats are just backing it up. The more that we dive into it, the more it's becoming cemented in my brain that I need them, and I need them quick.
For sure.
All right, let's get into our boom bust sleeper.
I wanted you to see these player evaluations.
What's wrong with Cal?
I think he's a bust.
I mean, the guy has hammies that could literally pull a car.
Booms are pretty easy. Both of us going low-hanging fruit here. Latrell Mitchell for me, 64 average. Likely to be a 70. Could easily be an 80. I mean, Is it 90? Is it 90 possible?
Could easily play 4 games. Yeah.
And still beat the 64 average.
And still beat the 64 average. Absolutely right. Yeah, you're not wrong. Brian Toto. Another guy who's played with injuries last season. Look, I think he can beat the 61 average from last year. You bump that up to 60, 65, I think, at the very least. Look, the 5 tries. I don't care what happens. He's going to be scoring more than 5 tries on the wing for the Panthers.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It's a low year coming in for Brian
Yes.
Toto, so he will smash that for sure. Love that. Busts here. I talked about earlier, KL Iro with that 82% strike rate, the best strike rate in the business coming out of 2025. It just cannot be replicated. 72 average. Do I think he's going to average that? No. Do I think he's going to average around mid-60s and be a very dependable player? Yes. But he will be a bust off that 72 average just because he just won't be scoring that many tries in comparison to the amount of games that he's playing.
Yeah. Now, Ruben Garrick, he's one that I think is going to have a bust season. Look, it's going to be the last year that we do. Well, last year was the last year that we will see him goal kick, I think, because he moves across to the Roosters. He's not going to be out shooting Sammy Walker. So I think his years of a 70-odd average are gone. I think he's probably going to push down to an early 60s average and possibly even into the 50s, depending on how the Seagulls attack with new team structure. They've got Fogarty running the show rather than DCE. There's a whole raft of things that could be going against Garrick this season. So, yep, he's my bust.
Yeah, you just take that 8 points a game that he scored in goal kicks. Take that off his average. Bust.
Easy
bust. Sleepers. I've gone Sammy Stone Street, the king of the double. 58% strike rate was scoring doubles across those 12 games. Holy moly. Left edge for the Sharks is humming. It is the dominant edge in attack. We know that Nico Hines loves to sweep over to the left, combined with Tricky Trindle, and that left wing does score tries. I wouldn't be surprised if he scores 15-plus tries out there, Sam Stone Street. Will he turn that into a sexy average like Ronnie Mortallo has? No.
Probably not.
But I still think he will score more, or will average more than what people think he will, which makes him a sleeper. So
fair.
Don't sleep on him.
Okay.
Sammy's going to be good.
A guy who's not really too much of a sleeper, but spoken about him a few times in a few different podcasts, Jackson Purdue. I think he's definitely one that's caught my attention because obviously the dual position, but that positional shift, he just looked like he belonged in the halves when he did play there a couple of times. Now, something that is going to be spoken about in the fullback podcast is his impact when he plays in the halves to Drinky is scary.
I did read this.
Yeah, so it is something that, we need to kind of take note. We're already half putting a line through the Cowboys, like high octane players, Drinky being the highest of octane. If his scoring potential drops as well on top of the round 25 bye, I mean, how far can you fade him? He's been one of the more dependable players, so I don't think it's panic stations. But yeah, I think Jackson Purdue with the potential that he's got, like I mentioned in the earlier in the poddy, I do think that the 14 tries he scored, I think there may be a little bit of regression there. But where he doesn't score the tries, he might be setting more up. So yeah, yin and yang, swings and roundabouts.
You're doing your best here to suck all the value out of Jackson Purdue, that's for sure.
Definitely.
All right, let's get into no fucking ways. Yeah,
no fucking way. No, I'm not working with this guy. I've been there, done that.
Jason Saab for me. Not a big Jason Saab guy when DCE is there.
Yeah.
And I'll be even less of a Jason Saab guy when DCE isn't there. I don't think this right edge will be dominant. It'll be on the left edge. Fogarty not known for linking up with his wingers either.
Never. Like, so Savage was catching a cold out there.
Yep. So you're likely to see 8-point games with Jason Saab when he's playing on a dominant Manly edge with DCE as his half. Scary what we might see from Jason Saab in this outfit.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah, he's definitely not one that I'm looking at. The guy I've gone with, he's going to be until he retires, my no fucking way, and it's Isaac Tano. Never, ever will I ever get that guy on my side again. Didn't happen last season. He had some moments last year, but yeah, he fucked me pretty hard a few years ago. So
dead to you.
He is beyond dead to me. I'm cursing his body.
Oh, Tungo. You've heard him. Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's it. CTW. I think we've done fantastic. We're just over 2 hours here. I think we've done very well. It does fall off the side of a cliff when you sort of get past that bargain basement.
Well, the bargain basement's where you want to be doing a fair bit of your work for your 4th CTW. Once you get past that, it's throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, barren wasteland. But yeah, like we said earlier, very important position when you want to get right, especially with your first 2 CTWs. But I think teams and I think leagues can be won and lost with how guys draft their CTWs in 2026. Yeah. And remember, there's always a couple of guys, 2 or 3 guys that make the leap from being, top 20, top 30, top 40 CTW to being a top 15 CTW. Every year, there's a couple of guys that make the big leap. Who is it going to be this year? If you can jag one of those guys, if you can back your gut on a guy and he makes that leap, that could be season defining.
Yeah, no, definitely.
All right. That's us done, bro. If you want to listen to Brian Kelly and Leahy Hopewadi just getting their dicks sucked, you're going to have to head over to the Rub Club, $8 a month for Tier 2, or your pre-season SuperCoach gear. Yeah, heaps over there. Lots of mock drafts flying. I'm sure the boys are getting involved in mock drafts as we fucking speak. And we've got a couple of big mock drafts where Wook and I will be involved in those ones. And those mocks will be full of top drafters. So they're the mocks that you want to be involved in, because we'll be setting them up properly and making sure we get the best of the best in there to give everyone a really good indication on how drafts are going to flow.
Yep.
And remember, Rub Files available now. Go get it. We've got links everywhere. Fucking links up to wazoo. Go into the bio, go Instagram, see our stories. The links are there. If you can't find them, DM one of us. We'll give you the link. Mate, honestly, if you're playing Classic, if you're playing Draft, and you don't have the Rub Files in your back pocket, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing yourself a disservice. You're playing half the game.
You got one arm tied behind your back.
You've waltzed into a gunfight and you've got a pocket knife. What are you doing, brother?
Mate, you've rocked up with a spoon. What the
Come
fuck?
on, mate. Knifey spoony.
I see you've played knifey spoony before.
All right, let's get out of here, bro. There are many things a man can do with his time.
This is better than those things.
You're damn right. We'll catch us next round on the weekly Rub.
Get that India. Ta-ta!